Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be a Stasis Glaive build on the Warlock. We're going to be combining Carnstein armlets, Wells of Tenacity with Reaping Wellmakers, plus the Stasis turrets. With the fragment that gives us damage resistance from frozen targets, we'll be getting 60% damage reduction from the Wells plus this fragment. And then we're going to be stacking this with the Carnstein healing to be almost unkillable. This glaive build, we're going to be using Bomber and some other mods to give us more grenade energy. We're going to be trying to cycle off our rifts and grenades. Sadly, it is very slow, but we can get a turret up at every second with the right mods, but the stats are going to be a little bit harder to get for this one. And if you really want it to get to the full potential, you need triple 100s. In this video, I do not have triple 100s, so the build's not 100% at efficiency. But if you get that, this should be an absolute crazy build. And you're going to really enjoy this because you get a lot of extra glaive damage with the frozen targets. And then the frozen targets from our fragment are going to give us more rift energy. This is a very good ad clear build, and with ice flare bolts, we're going to be able to travel our freezing enemies and then shattering them and then getting another enemy frozen. This is going to allow us to kill huge waves of ads and is really fun. I'm going to bring another Stasis Glaive build in the future for other ways to get other ability energy and stuff, because I know this is a little bit harder to get with the stats. But if we use dust fields with ice flare bolts, there should be another way to do it, and we should have really fast cooldowns. And I wanted to say thank you guys for the support in the last video. I got a bunch of new subs, and it meant a lot. We're really growing this community out, and I answered some really entertaining things to answer. People were questioning about the mods and saying what they were using and their setups, and I really appreciate that because I do get to see another side. And I think people's knowledge of the general game will expand because I know I've played this game for a real long time, and I've really gotten to know the mods and everything. I've basically tried out like every combination of mods and stuff, and I know the mechanics pretty well. It meant a lot that you guys stopped by, and I'm going to quickly get into this build now. I hope you guys enjoy, and it meant a lot, so thank you. Here you go. Okay guys, for the first part of this build, we're going to be using 2 Wells of Tenacity with the element of time dilation. Then we're going to be running Bountiful Wells, which will give us a second well and will allow us to refresh our time. This isn't the most perfect thing because we could be getting an extra 3 seconds to our timer, but because we're using Bomber to get 30% of our grenade back, we're going to be forced to use the solar mod. Because we're getting the 12 seconds of the Wells of Tenacity, the Bountiful Wells will help in some situations because it can reset the time halfway through or even right as you finish it, because the wells do last a while on the floor. Next, we're going to be using the grenade kickstarters. Bolstering detonation does not work. If you didn't know, bolstering detonation is when you do grenade damage, you get rift energy, and I was going to cycle this off with Bomber. But it does not work with the turrets, so grenade kickstarter is the only thing you can use. And this actually works out, because we do have to use a stasis elemental time dilation. I am using focusing strike because if we decide to switch off our glaive and then shoot our melee, we can get a little bit extra rift energy. And because I'm not using mods for anti-barrier overload, I don't even need to have that slot filled. The Bomber is really the major part with the mod, with the fragment that gives us Whisper of Refraction, Stasis, and slowed and frozen kills give you class ability energy. This is gonna work going back and forth with the Bomber because the Bomber is gonna give us more Stasis Bleak Watcher energy to get those turrets up, and the turrets are gonna freeze the enemy, and then we're gonna be able to get kills from the frozen and slowed enemies and give us rift energy. The rift energy from this isn't amazing. I think it's about 10% for each kill, but it does really help out with this build. Next, we're using Whisper of Chains, which is going to stack with Well of Tenacities. It's normally 40%, but with the Void stacking with it, I believe it's about 60. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's that much. We're going to be getting spammed by enemies at almost all times. By enemies, because we're using Carnsteins, we can heal through it, and the damage reductions, we're going to be able to heal through everything. And we're going to be getting a lot more grenade energy from the Whisper of Torments. Next, we're going to be using the Whisper of Endurance to increase our turret duration. The Healing Rift is important because you're going to be able to put that up and then spawn the Reaping Wellmaker. We're going to be using Ice Flare bullets to really allow us to break through and kill ads. This will allow us to destroy multiple ads at once and will allow us to keep chaining our freeze effect to each other. So we can keep going even if we don't have a turret up, even if the turret's not reaching it either. The grenade doesn't matter because we're using Bleak Watcher, and that's it. It meant a lot that you guys stopped by. And for this Nightfall, I do recommend a high damage void weapon like a linear or something for the boss. And Enigma just works out to do more damage because it's void, but the actual melee doesn't count as void, so make sure you know that. Every single perk in the game that or ability effect that works with like colored melees, like a void or stasis melee, nothing works for these. These are kinetic melees. So before trying things like focusing strike or other mods, this will not work with them. And there's very few things in the game that work with them. The void fragments work with it, and the Karnsteins work with it, and some of the other classes. But it meant a lot you guys stopped by, so it meant a lot. It means so much to me that you guys are viewing my videos and really supporting. It would mean so much to me if you guys left a subscribe, if you guys learned something or enjoyed the video or are going to use this build in future times. I love to read and respond to your comments, so put them down below. Thank you for watching, and let's get on to some crazy gameplay in this GM. Here you go.
This is a bit absurd, I'm not gonna lie.
The amount of turrets. Barriers up.
We don't care about barriers. We just freeze them.
True.
They're just like no enemy. Yeah, kill the boss.
There we go. Get the overload out.
No. There's like, oh, there's so many turrets. Where did he come from?
Jeez, 24 minutes.
24
Shit.
minutes.
Good stuff, guys.
Die, man.